There's two bees in the corner. We're gonna go, just rotate, guys, just rotate, give it up, just give it up. Good job, guys. If you can get that time, that's huge.
And Optic Gaming, Hastro. It is mathematically impossible for Envy to move on. Optic Gaming will be advancing to our winners bracket.
That game, and he's so hyped. And there you go, the Optic fans are loving it. Optic Gaming gonna win over Envy 3-1 here at MLG Anaheim.
Good evening. I have asked for this radio and television time tonight for the purpose of announcing that we today have concluded an agreement to end the war and bring peace with honor in Vietnam and in Southeast Asia.
Get down, get down, get down, get down. Get down.
Threat in the city. Nest teams are on site and attempting to disarm. I repeat, we have a confirmed Everyone, hang on!
All right, tonight, the Army has a new challenge, not fighting a war, but filling its ranks.
Well, it may be the Marines' slogan, but the U.S. Army is looking for a few more good men and women tonight. The Army has missed its latest recruiting goal by 25%.
A military official tells us the military hasn't had such a hard time in getting recruits in 50 years. Back then, Vietnam War and the draft were both ending. And while he doesn't believe a revival of the draft is coming, he does say the military will question the sustainability of the all-volunteer force this year.
And so the first point, the first reason why you should not join the Army, the military in general, is if you do not want to deploy. And that's not you don't want to go to war. I don't think anybody really wants to go to war. If you do want to go to war, I've talked about that. That's not something good. You shouldn't necessarily want to go over and just kill people like crazy. Like, that's not something that you should want to do. But if you don't want to deploy, if you don't want to be stationed in Europe, if you don't want to do something like that where you're super far away from home for a long period of time, if that's something that you don't want to do, then you should definitely consider
Gaming.
Call of Duty. I don't do any of these, but.
trying to get at the root cause. Why are men in such crisis? I mean, the stats are like only 40% go to college. So they're losing out to women there in a big way. And women with degrees don't marry men who don't have degrees. So... Like, great, you'll be lonely forever, aren't you? Why are you cheering that? That's not...
Glad they didn't tell my wife.
But there is something going on. I mean, mass shootings is a uniquely male crime. It's always because some dude in Buffalo, you know, had somebody swipe left on him too much. That, I mean, I feel like that's what's going on here, is a lot of sort of maleness coming to the fore and announcing itself in violence and racism and hatred because they're lonely and lost and feel that they are not useful in society. How did we get there?
The most unstable nations in the world have one thing in common, and that is they have too many lonely, broke, and alone men. It's the most dangerous person in the world. Salman Rushdie wasn't attacked because of the fatwa. He was attacked because a guy was living in his mother's basement. We have a crisis among young men, and it starts at a young age. Young men are twice as likely on a behavior-adjusted basis to be suspended. 7 in 10 high school valedictorians are women. For every two female graduates from college in the next 5 years, you only have one. The scariest stat, walking down the avenue that is America, only 1 in 3 men under the age of 30 have had sex in the last year. And you hear sex and your brain fires, but the bottom line is, it's a key step to the elemental foundation of any society, and that is relationships. Young men aren't attaching to work, they aren't attaching to women, they aren't attaching to schools. We are producing too many of the most dangerous person in society.
Snami Ball. Remember, no Russian.
Simulated
It's
violence.
a criminal simulator, a murder simulator.
Yeah, Evan Ramsey, others like some of these other killers, Dylan Klebold, Eric Harris of Columbine, were steeped in these games. Adam Lanza.
The Norway killer trained on those. He said he trained on them. 69 dead on an island in Norway, and he spent a year training on video games to prepare himself for his crime. The killer in Florida, he spent 15 hours a day on violent video games. The most all-consuming, all-pervasive thing in this guy's life are these violent video games.
Video games are a real problem. They're a real problem. You know why? Because they're fucking fun.
Addictive.
And you don't, well, I have a real problem with them. And you do them, and they're real exciting, but you don't get anywhere.
Right.
It's like you could do, like martial arts, right? You could learn jiu-jitsu. You get obsessed by jiu-jitsu, and then 3 years later, you're like an elite jiu-jitsu athlete. You're entering in competitions. You're a purple belt.
You're moving up.
Yeah, you're doing well.
Right.
You're thinking like, I might be able to open my own school one day.
You got confidence.
Yeah, if I have 100 students and those 100 students are paying me X amount of dollars per month, I can make a living. Holy shit, I can have this would be amazing. And then you see your jiu-jitsu school, and your jiu-jitsu instructor has all these students and drives a Mercedes, and he's got a nice family, and like, that's the future. This way, you're doing something exciting and fun, and you don't. Or you could just be playing fucking video games. 3 years later, you could be that same kid just playing video games, waiting for the next whatever the fuck game is, next Xbox game to come out, and you're gonna waste your time.
And so what message do you have for younger generations today?
First thing, you have to love your country.
And vote, take part in democracy.
Be kind to your neighbor. Help anyone that you can whenever you can, and have a mission, have a goal.
What is good, everyone? It is your boy Attach, and welcome to a brand new video. Today, there will not be any gameplay in this video. We're going to be talking about, as you see in the title, how to become a professional Call of Duty player in the new Call of Duty. I made a video about a year ago, I would say, talking about